Coming up on episode 80 of Create If Writing, I'm talking all about quick wins, why they matter, and one thing you can get done today.
I can't go back to sleep, it's almost light. These restless thoughts have kept me up again tonight.
Hello and welcome to Create If Writing. This is the podcast for writers, bloggers, and creatives who want to build an online platform without being smarmy. I'm your host, Kirsten Oliphant, and I am so glad that you're here for episode 80, the first episode of 2017. This is probably the first year that I've actually remembered the date correctly, and I think it's because I worked so hard on creating the 2017 blog planner and strategy guide. And so the number was kind of in front of me all the time. But usually I think it takes me about 3 months to get the date correct. So I'm really excited that I actually remembered, hey, it's 2017, you guys. So welcome to the new year. I want to talk to you about starting off the new year. So here's a few things that are going on this week. If you normally listen to the podcast, you know that I come up with an episode every Monday that's typically an interview or a solo show that's a bit shorter. Things are going to change up a little bit this year and also this week. This week, I am doing something special. I'm doing what I call the January Kick Start. And in my Facebook group, I have a bite-sized mini workshop planned for every day this week at 11 a.m. It's going to be 20 minutes or less. And there's going to be a free downloadable worksheet with one quick win for that day. I'll talk about why in a minute, but I'm also going to have 5 podcast episodes that are shorter than usual. They're going to come out every day this week, except for Friday. Friday will be a little bit different, and I'll tell you about that at the end of the episode as to why that's going to be different. But every day I'm going to have a short episode with a quick win, and they're going to correlate to the little mini workshops in the Facebook community. So if you want to get the 75-page blog planner and you want to get the quick win worksheets to correspond with this week of podcast episodes and live trainings, and if you want to see the live trainings in the Facebook group, you can subscribe. createifwriting.com/kickstart, and you can enter your email. Now, if you're already on my list, you already know all about all this stuff. So just make sure you're checking your email and actually clicking that you want to download the things and get the emails about the Kickstart. So before we dive into today's quick win, I want to say a big thank you to our sponsor, ConvertKit. ConvertKit is an email service provider. It is my number one online tool that I would recommend to people if you need power behind your email. Now, for some of you guys, if you're just sitting at one email a week to a big list and they're all kind of the same sort of people, you're not doing a lot with your email list, then something like MailChimp or MadMimi might work great for you. But if you really want to get serious about email, if you want to target and segment people, if you want to run live workshops and make it easy for people to sign up, if you want to have a lot of content upgrades in your blog posts, then you need something with more power. You can get a free 1-month trial of ConvertKit by going to createifwriting.com/ConvertKit and get that free month. I highly recommend it. Not for every single person. So if you're not sure if it's for you, just shoot me an email, kirsten@kirstenoliphant.com. We can talk about it because I don't want to recommend things that aren't right for every person. But ConvertKit has been the answer for me to really run a more complex, targeted, and successful email system. Love it. Okay, let's dive into today's episode. So today we are talking about one quick win, but I want to give kind of an intro to why I'm doing this, the whole kind of reasoning behind the Kickstart. So have you guys ever seen a diet commercial? That's a dumb question. I'm sure you have. I see them all the time. They play them at the gym all the time. I think it's intentional. So I've seen Marie Osmond talk a lot about Nutrisystem. And one of the things I always notice about those commercials, whether it's that or something else, is they have a first week kickoff type of thing. So the first week you're guaranteed to lose this many pounds. The first week you're going to have this kind of meal replacement. And there's a reason for that. When you have a quick win, when you start off something and see success, you are more likely to succeed in the long run. It's mental. It tells you that you can succeed. It builds your confidence, and your confidence then in turn builds your accomplishment. So you accomplish something, it gives you confidence, and then you accomplish more things. You need those quick wins. And sometimes, I don't know about you, sometimes we start off January and we just front load our whole year. We don't think about goals the rest of the year, but we pile them on in January and then we fail right away. And it just mentally leaves us, either we want to give up on those goals or maybe we shorten our list, or maybe we just sort of slide into not caring. But when we fail right at first, it affects the whole year. So I don't want to do that. I want to kickstart our January with some quick wins that are going to help get your blog and business off to the right start. That was the whole plan behind this series. And again, if you want to get all the emails, worksheets, and then the bigger planner to kind of look at your whole year, you can get that at creativewriting.com/kickstart. So for today and day one, I've already done the Facebook Live. Some days I'll probably do the podcast first, and some days I'll do the video first. But I just finished the video live in the Facebook community, and I talked all about finishing something. So my quick win for today is that I want you and I want me to finish something that's been hanging over your head from 2016. It really stinks when you start off the new year failing, but it also really stinks when you start off the new year with something hanging over your head from last year that you never got done. Now, confession, I am a serial starter. I love nothing more than that feeling of kind of euphoria as you start a new project. I am a terrible finisher. I really, really am. I have so many started manuscripts and started paintings because I like to paint, and just started things that I don't finish. I love the feeling of finishing, but I just kind of get bored sometimes in the middle, or I get mucked down, and that new fresh idea, it's like the shiny object, and I move on and do that. So sometimes I'll complete the new project and then never finish the old one. So I actually looked this up on the internet, so it has to be true. Psychology tells us that when we don't finish things, or when we procrastinate on projects, what actually happens is that our lives become more stressful, and it lowers our sense of well-being. Whether you realize it or not, those unfinished projects hang around your head, hang around your neck. They weigh you down. They are subconsciously affecting your effectiveness now. They are making you less effective. They are making you less confident. They are making you less likely to do well now because you have old unfinished business hanging over your head. So today's quick win is I want you to pick one thing that's hanging over your head from 2016 that you can do today. And I want you to do it. Now, if you're listening on Tuesday, that's totally fine. Do it whenever, but pick one thing and do it. Why? Again, back to that quick win. First, you're not going to have that thing hanging over your head. And two, it's going to help you kickstart 2017 with a quick win where you've accomplished something. Now, if you're sitting here listening and you're thinking, oh my gosh, that sounds great, except I have a list of like 6 giant projects from 2016 I didn't finish. I just want to dump them all and go on to 2017. Let me give you some tips for that too. First of all, maybe you do want to dump some things. If you're like me, sometimes you take on too many things. Maybe some of those projects don't need to be finished now and you can shelve them, and that's okay. Shelve them forever, shelve them for a couple months, decide you don't need to do them. That's totally okay. But some of the things you do need to finish. I'm sure not everything that you started is something you can just shelve indefinitely or decide, you're really not at the point where you should be doing that. You should do it next year. But if you do have a lot of things that you want to get done that are hanging over your head, I'll tell you kind of how I did it. So last year around, I think it was December or early January, I'd have to go look at like Facebook pictures. I found that I had 6 big projects or so hanging over my head, and they were pretty big projects that I needed to get done. Now I have 5 kids now. I have 4 kids then. I've got a 7-week-old right now. So as you can imagine, the projects tend to pile up, and I tend to have to work in little chunks of time. There's not a great consistent nap time here, but I do have kids in school. Some of them 5 days a week, some of them 2 days a week. And sometimes I'll get like a couple hours here, a couple hours there. But normally I don't have more than 2 to 3 hours at a time. And that makes it really hard because some projects you really just need to dig in and spend a lot of hours and get them done. So I asked my husband if he would give me like 36 hours to just leave and get those projects done. And he said yes. So he watched the kids, and for 36 hours, I rented a tiny house in Houston. It was, I don't know how many square feet, like 300, 400 square feet. It really was tiny, but it was perfect. And I had all these things on my project list to finish, and I finished all of them. And it was so amazing to come back. I mean, it was so amazing to have like 36 hours without children. I love my children, but when, can I get an amen from the parents out there? Sometimes you just need a little break to be kind of a human adult where you're only taking care of your needs. It's really special. So also, I love working. It was really great to get home and say, yep, I did all the things on my to-do list. It was a great feeling. So if you have a lot of bigger projects, maybe your quick win for today is going to be planning how to finish those. So your thing hanging over your head, your quick win for today is to make a plan. Maybe you need, whether you have kids or not, it can be really hard to schedule things, schedule a big chunk of time. So for today, if you have those bigger things hanging over your head, maybe make that quick win kind of a plan for how you're going to do it, a plan of attack. Like maybe you're going to say, okay, this Saturday, all I'm going to do is finish those things from 2016 hanging over my head. Or maybe I'm going to ask my spouse if I can have, a weekend away. I used to stay with a friend who had no kids in an extra guest room, and she and her husband worked. And so during the week, if I needed a break, I would ask my husband, hey, can I have a 24-hour break? And he would say yes, because he's amazing. And I would go and stay at her house and just not leave her bedroom. And sometimes I'd have dinner with her at night, but for the most part, I would just sit in this guest room and get work done. So whatever it is, even on a budget, even with a bunch of kids, see if you can find a way to get a chunk of time to get those things done. Okay, so let me wrap up and let me sum up. This week, it's all about 5 days of quick wins, 5 days of mini workshops, 5 days of podcast episodes where we're going to talk about something you can get done in a day to start off 2017 with a bang, feeling good because you're accomplishing things. So don't let those things from 2016 hang over your head. Let's get those things done. Now, I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, Friday is going to be a little different. So this is kind of an announcement about the whole year, actually. I decided that I wanted to try having a podcast version of my weekly email. My weekly email is called The Quick Fix, and it's a kind of curated list of links and resources that I have found that are either evergreen, like a tool or something that I found, or an article that was a really good read. And recently I found myself wishing that I could actually have a dialogue or conversation or kind of write more or say more about why I chose those or talk about them. So I decided I was going to try doing a really quick podcast episode, again, quick fix, quick episode, where I'm going to talk about the links and actually say why I chose them and do a little bit of a kind of brief rundown of them. So there's still going to be a quick fix email, but the podcast episode is going to correspond to that. Now, if you listen for the first time for a quick fix and you want to sign up and then see the links from that episode, the email will have already gone out, but I'm actually going to create a workflow document that has each week's quick fix. So you can actually go back, and if you're like, oh man, I can't remember what was that link weeks ago, well, you're going to be able to go back into the archives and find it. So I'm really excited about this. So every week on Monday, I'm going to drop a regular podcast episode that's a little bit longer, either an interview or me talking. And then on Fridays, I'm going to have the quick fix. So you'll get an email if you're subscribed with the quick fix links, and then you'll have a podcast episode where I talk a little bit about the links. It'll probably be between 10 and 15 minutes. So just a bite-sized quick fix podcast as well. And I'm really excited. So this week will be the first of those. I think I'm going to do that instead of the fifth quick win. So we'll see how the quick wins go, because maybe I'll need to do the quick win, or maybe the quick fix will be the quick win somehow. I'll tie them together. But either way, I'm excited that you are here. And again, if you want to take part in this challenge and get the worksheets, get the 75-page blog planner, you can do that by going to creativewriting.com/kickstart. And if you're listening months in advance, because this is the thing with podcasts, sometimes we binge listen. So if it's July and you're listening to this, I'll leave that page up. The Kickstart will be over, but you can still get the blog planner. It's never too late to start being intentional with your blog and business. And so that planner will help you do that. Big thank you to Jasmine Commerce of JasmineCommerceMusic.com for the music for this show. Again, don't forget about your free trial from ConvertKit, my favorite email service provider and favorite tool. You can get that at creativewriting.com/ConvertKit. And I want to be better about asking you guys for ratings and reviews. Again, I see my download numbers. I know how many of you guys are listening. I would really, really love it if you could leave a rating or review, because right now the numbers of reviews do not indicate how many people are actually listening. So if you haven't done it yet, I know it's a little bit of a pain in iTunes. I do not think they make it easy, but if you could leave a rating or review, that really does help people when they come and look at my show. It gives me some legitimacy, and it helps me also to get some bigger guests on the show. I'm so thankful that you guys are here, and I want you to go out now and do your quick win. Finish something from 2016 so that it's not hanging over your head in 2017.